So welcome to Exodus 19, a nation married to Yah, with your host, Richard Massey. I pray that you are having a blessed Sabbath, or that you had one. And I pray also that whatever you and your family are going through, that Yah gives you the strength to go through it. Today we're going to be reading 1 Kings. 1 Kings chapter 12. This chapter right here is amazing. And I know I say that a lot, but this chapter is also taking place not only because it comes after chapter 11, but this chapter 12 is taking place because of what Solomon did to Elohim in chapter 11. Chapter 11 talks about how when Solomon offended Yah, Yah pulled out 4 different enemies to go after Solomon. But the judgment that he put on Solomon's family, just like the judgment that was on David's family when he messed up. That's what my question to you is. Can those judgments that Yah decided to do, can they be prayed out? Can they be prayed away? When Yah is dealing with a particular person and they're ignoring his word, and it gets to be judgment time, and whatever he says out of his mouth has to come to pass, can that be prayed away? I mean, you wouldn't know it at the time. You just know that at the time you're going through something. But why is our spouse acting like this? Why does mom or dad act like this? Why does our children act like this? Why is the world acting like this? I know it's partially because of Deuteronomy 28, which that can be enough right there. But let's just read 1 Kings 12 and the way that it's laid out, and talk about it as we go through it, and see if we can figure some things out. So 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 1. It says, "And Rehoboam went to Shechem, for all Israel had gone to Shechem to set him up to reign. 2. And it came to be when Jeroboam, son of Nebat, heard this, he was still in Mizraim. For he had fled from the presence of the sovereign, or the king of Solomon, and had been dwelling in Mizraim. 3. That they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all the assembly of Israel came and spoke to Rehoboam, saying, 4. For your father made our yoke hard, and now I ask you to lighten the hard service of your father and his heavy yoke, which he has put on us, and then we will serve you." So Rehoboam is the son of Solomon. Rehoboam is the son of Solomon. He is about to become king. Jeroboam, who used to work for Solomon, they got into a little scuffle. So Jeroboam decided to go to Mizraim, to Egypt. Solomon is now passed on. And Rehoboam, and these two names go back and forth, they sound almost alike, is asking Jeroboam if he's going to come back and serve under his rule. And he says to Rehoboam, "Your father Solomon worked us into the ground. And I'm asking you," he said, "if you decide to take it easy on us, we will come and serve you." That's where we at from 1 to 4. So 5. So Rehoboam says to Jeroboam, he says, "Go away for 3 days, then come back to me." And the Bible says, and the people, Jeroboam, they left because they're going to come back in 3 days. And this is talked about in the previous chapters with Solomon, how because of the decisions that Solomon made, the nation of Israel is going to become two nations, right? So Solomon makes a mistake, a bad decision, and Yah decides to split the nation into two. So when Rehoboam is now in command, he has to make a decision on what Jeroboam just asked him. Please just take it easy on us, because your father was very hard on us when we served him. And if you take it easy on us, we'll serve you. So 6 says, then the sovereign Rehoboam consulted the elders who stood before his father Solomon while he still lived, and he said, what do you advise me to answer these people? So Rehoboam is asking the elders of Israel, what you think? 7, and they spoke to him, saying, if you are a servant to these people today, and shall serve them, and shall answer them, and speak good words to them, then they shall be your servants all the days. And that's what the old head said to him. Yeah, just go ahead, take it easy on them, show them a little respect, do good for them, and these guys will serve you all your days, right? It says in 8, but he ignored the advice of the elders that they gave him and consulted the young boys who had grown up with him, who had stood before him. And I don't need to say no more about the young boys, right? They know everything. They know everything. You can't say nothing to them, right? So 9 says that he said to them, what advice do you give? And how should we answer these people who have spoken to me, saying, lighten the yoke which your father put on us? So here's the young boys that's never really experienced anything, giving advice to Rehoboam on what to say to Jeroboam when he comes back. 10, and the young men who had grown up with him spoke to him, saying, say this to this people who have spoken to you, saying, your father made our yoke heavy, but you make it lighter on us, please. He says, say this to them, my little finger is thicker than my father's waist. So if you think my father drove you into the ground, wait until you come back and I'll get in charge of you. So that's what you want me to say to them when they come back. Yeah, say that. So I have in my notes, remember when Solomon decided to turn his back on Yah to start serving other gods? Commandments 1 and 2 is what Solomon broke. And messing with different women, this is how we get the northern and the southern kingdoms. So simply because of Solomon deciding to turn his back on Yah and serve the women that Yah had asked him not to serve, and we'll get to why he asked him not to serve, to mess around with these women. We're going to get to that point. Was it because of race, or was it because of belief? Because there are a lot of religions out there that talk about how you can't be with a certain person because of race, right? So 11, and now my father laid a heavy yoke on you, but I add to your yoke. My father flogged you with whips, but I flog you with scourges. So Rehoboam is letting Jeroboam know this is going to be tough on y'all. 12, so Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam on the 3rd day, because this is what his boys told him to say when he gets there. As the sovereign has spoken, saying, come back to me the 3rd day. So this is Jeroboam coming back to him on the 3rd day. 13, but the sovereign answered the people harshly and ignored the advice which the elders had gave him, which the old heads had gave him. 14, and he spoke to them according to the advice of the young man, saying, my father made your yoke heavy, but I add to your yoke. My father flogs you with whips, but I flog you with scourges. 15, so the sovereign did not listen to the people, for the turns of events was from Yahweh, in order to establish his word which Yahweh has spoken by Hiah the Shilonite to Jeroboam, son of Nebat. So the reason why, even though it would have made sense for Rehoboam to say, first of all, to listen to the elders, and even though it would have made sense for Rehoboam to say, I don't have a problem with you guys. I'm sorry that my dad ran you into the ground. I could take it easier on you. I'm sure we can work something out. Just like Elohim did to Pharaoh in Exodus, when the Bible says that he hardened his heart, he says that he hardened Pharaoh's heart. Elohim hardened Pharaoh's heart so that his word can come forth and not return back void. 15 said, so the sovereign did not listen to the people. He didn't listen to the elders. Even though it made more sense for him to listen to the elders, he didn't listen to the elders, for the turn of events was from Yahweh. Yahweh, the Bible is saying right here, influenced Rehoboam to say the harsh words that if Yahweh says to Solomon that because of what you did, you're going to be under judgment, how is Yahweh going to make the judgment come? Because if Rehoboam is a nice guy and his intentions are good, he would have agreed with the elders and everything would have just been the same. And that would have made Yah a liar. So Yah has to influence Rehoboam's mindset. Yah has to do it. Now, Yah might not personally do it. He might allow Satan to do it. But 15 has to come forth in favor of Yah because of his judgment on Solomon. It says, for the turn of events was from Yah, in order to establish Yah's word, which Yah had spoken by Ayah the Solonite to Jeroboam the son of Nebat. Yah has made Rehoboam in some form or fashion say what he said, because that's going to make his word come to pass. That's going to make his judgment on Israel come forth. So when you're rebuking the enemy at this time, it's pointless. And I'm just reading what the word is saying. I'm not adding nothing to it. I know if you're reading along, you're reading exactly what I'm reading. But we were taught to rebuke the enemy because he don't have a right to be here. And we're travailing and wailing and you know what? Somebody possibly could have said, I'm sorry to Yah. So Rehoboam only reigns over the cities of over Yehuda and Jerusalem, but Jeroboam takes Israel and decides to leave. So Rehoboam is going to be in control of the southern kingdom. But Jeroboam is going to be now trying to reign over the northern kingdom, right? 16, and all Israel saw that the sovereign did not listen to them. Then the people answered the sovereign, saying, he's answering Rehoboam, what portion do we have in David then? And there is no inheritance in the son of Yitshah. To your mighty ones, O Israel. Now see to your own house, O David. So Israel went to their tents. So now what Jeroboam is taking, he's taking 10 tribes with him. 17, but as for the children of Israel who dwell in the cities of Yehuda, Rehoboam reigns over them. That part of Israel that now dwells in Yehuda and in Jerusalem, that's who Rehoboam is going to be king over. That's going to be the two places right there that's going to represent the southern kingdom of Israel, and Jeroboam is going to control the other 10 tribes, which is going to be the northern part of the northern kingdom of Israel. I hope you're following me, because this is why we're having these wars in Jerusalem right now. And this is explaining a lot to why in the 1770 AD, the Israelites at the bottom, right near Africa, were able to escape the Roman captivity and flood into Africa. Because the people in the northern kingdom, high in the land, would not have been able to travel that far down, then get to Judah or Jerusalem, and then pass through that township, and then run into Africa. So the people in Jerusalem and the people of Yehuda were right there in the north of Africa, right next to the Mediterranean Sea. They were able to, when the Romans were going to take over their town, run right into Africa. And that's a whole nother story, because those people that ran into Africa blended right in with the sons of Ham. So this can go so many ways, because when the sons of Ham when they ran into Africa, blending in with the sons of Ham, that's why in Genesis, when the brothers came to Joseph, they didn't even know each other until they started talking, and the stories start unfolding of who was who. If Joseph was white, they would have easily been able to point him out. So see, this story, it takes you all the way back to Genesis and explains that whole story. It also explains how the southern tribe of Yehuda was able to go into Africa so more quickly than the other 10 tribes that were northbound, because they were right there, closer to Africa than the other 10 tribes. And when the sovereign Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the compulsory labor, all Israel stoned who was stoned, and he died. And the sovereign Rehoboam hastily mounted his chariot and fled to Jerusalem. 19. Thus Israel revolted against the house of David to this day. And that's why you really don't see a lot of activity happening in the northern parts as far as the lands that God had gave the other 10 tribes to inherit. They all lost all that land now. So the reason why Jerusalem is so important and still relevant is that's where Yah put his name at. That's why they're fighting. Because the devil has to say that since Yah put his name there, his job is to make Elohim a liar. This thing gets deep, because Solomon decided to serve other gods. All this happened because when Solomon was king, he ruled all the way down from Mount Sinai, across from the beginning of Africa, all the way up to almost like Turkey and Greece. That was all Israelites when they took out the Canaanites. Everything that was on the side of the Mediterranean Sea, that was all Israelite owned. And then on the other side of the Jordan was a half a tribe of Manasseh, Gad, and Reuben. Because remember, just on the side where all the Israelites were was only a half a tribe of Manasseh, and the other half of Manasseh lived on the opposite side of Jordan with Reuben and Gad. See, when you skip over chapters and verses like this, but you just read the good stuff, you don't understand what's going on. You don't never get what the Bible's telling you. Because all you're doing is looking for the blessing part, but you're not reading the stories. So you can quote the verses, but you don't know the story. How many people even know about Rehoboam and Jeroboam and how the northern and the southern kingdoms came about? So 21, and Rehoboam came to Jerusalem, and he assembled all the house of Yehuda with the tribe of Benjamin, 180,000 chosen brave men to fight against the house of Israel, to bring back the reign to Jeroboam, the son of Solomon. So now Jeroboam and Rehoboam, they're about to fight. Because when Rehoboam came to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Yehuda with the tribe of Benjamin, 180,000 chosen brave men to fight against the house of Israel. Because he wanted to bring back the reign to himself because he was the son of Solomon. Look at 22. But the word of Elohim came to Shemaiah, the son of Elohim, saying, the man of Elohim, saying, speak to Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, sovereign of Yehuda, and to all the house of Yehuda and Benjamin, and to the rest of the people, saying, 24, thus saith Yahweh, do not go up or fight against your brothers, the children of Israel. Let every man return to his house, for this matter is from me. He didn't say because Satan did it, go get him. They're being hard-headed. He said, do not go up or fight against your brothers, the children of Israel. Let every man return to his house, for this matter is from me. So they obeyed the word of Yahweh and turned back according to the word of Yahweh. "25, and Jeroboam built Shechem in the mountains of Ephraim and dwelled there. And he went out from there and built Peniel," right? Now this gets real. This is really deep what Jeroboam starts to do, because now it seems like Jeroboam, he's liking the fact that he's in charge, right? But Jeroboam knows the ways and the laws and the commands of the Israelites because he is one, right? So he knows about the feast. He knows about the Sabbath. He knows all about all the laws, right? But look at what being in charge can do for you. And tell me this don't remind you of the church today when they start changing stuff that the Bible says. Because as their church get bigger, so do they head. So look at what Jeroboam does, because he gets conceited in himself. 26, and Jeroboam said in his heart, now the reign shall return to the house of David. So he said, I don't want to lose this here, right? He says, I like having these 10 tribes under me. He says in 27, if these people go up and do slaughterings, where are they supposed to do slaughterings at? In Jerusalem. But they can't go there because now they're separated. He says, if these people go up and do slaughterings in the house of Yahweh at Jerusalem, then the heart of these people shall turn back to the master, because they're going to miss being there, because they know the laws and the commandments, the Sabbath and the feast. They know that they have to do it there. And once they get back and they started remembering that this is where I used to live, they're going to want to stay there. He says in Rehoboam, the sovereign of Yehuda, and they shall slay me and go back to Rehoboam, the sovereign of Yehuda. They're going to want to go back and stay there. He says in 28, so the sovereign took counsel and made 2 calves of gold. Right back at Exodus, 34? So now this man knows better, but because he likes the position of being king, the sovereign took counsel and made 2 calves of gold and said this to the people, it is too much for you to go back up to Jerusalem to see your mighty ones, O Israel, which brought you up out of the land of Mizraim. Right? So he's trying to convince them that they don't need to go all the way back up there. You can just stay here with me and I'm going to build you 2 calves of gold. And in my notes, I had these golden calves are set up to block something. One calf is set up to block judgment, and the other is set up to block the house of Yah, so that the people cannot discern how to judge things. Even here, the people were afraid to judge Jeroboam, just like the people are afraid to judge the pastors that are doing wrong and making bad decisions. Oh, you can't say nothing. You can't say nothing against the man of God, even though he's going to lead us to hell. The blind leading the blind. It said the people were afraid to judge Jeroboam for what he is doing. Even Christians today don't say don't judge. This is blocked from making righteous decisions. This is why a leader can do something bad and the people won't have a discernment to judge the matter. You can't enter into his court with praise and give thanksgiving because the house of Yah is blocked. He's blocking it with the golden calf. We can't receive the Ruach. They can't praise the Most High because he's going to divert their attention in another direction. 29, and he set up one in Bethel and the other he put in Dan. And this matter became a sin for the people went before the one as far as Dan, because the people went to the one in Dan, and now they're thinking that they have a new tradition. They're not realizing that they're under a false prophet, which is giving them false doctrine, which is starting a tradition of man, which is also deception. They're just going to go ahead. How are you? Let's say you're the same age as Jeroboam and you know all the rules and regulations of your heritage. And you hear that you're now under the leadership of Jeroboam, but you're the same age. And you know that last year and last month you did this. And now he comes to say you don't have to do that no more. We're going to do this. And you don't say, well, where'd this come from? I guess because he's the king, you can't fight against it, right? That's why I say leadership. 31, and he made the house of high places. So look what he's changing everything around. And he made priests from all sorts of people. So now the priests aren't just Levites. He's able to how? So this guy's just gonna make anybody a priest now. This is what 31 is saying. Who were not the sons of Levi. 32, and Jeroboam performed a feast on the 15th day instead of the 14th day. And on the 8th month instead of the 7th month. Like the festival that was in Yehuda. That was on the 14th day on the 7th month. He changed it to the 15th day on the 8th month. And because you believe that Yah has spoken to him and has given him the authority to do this, you follow right behind him. 33, and he made offerings on the altar which he made at Bethel on the 15th day of the 8th month. Have y'all ever read this before? And in the month when he had devised in his own heart. Pastors today are doing stuff that's they're devising and they're walking out in the middle of the sanctuary, walk it out. And he performed a festival for the children of Israel and offered on the altar and burnt incense. I tell you. People say these books are this Bible is so irrelevant. Can't get nothing out of it anymore. This is just a reminder that this podcast is also on Spotify and Instagram, and I'm live on YouTube as well. So don't forget to like my page and to share my page where it applies. And don't forget to hit the notification button. And let's give a round of applause to Elohim and Yeshua. You're worthy to be praised from the rising of the sun, from the going down of the same. And don't forget to subscribe as well. And again, a shout out to my man Richard Turner for my background music. Hope you guys have a blessed day. And peace out.